Hello and welcome back to Heads Will Roll Reforged, and we're here in York, and this is where we're going to uncover a rather, well, disturbing conspiracy. I'm gonna go over to the prison. You can easily find the prison building that Lena was talking about. Rain and a cloudy sky give the already gloomy-looking fort a completely infernal look, as if turning it into a grim omen of future troubles. Cold and twilight reign inside, which are only in some places pierced by the light of rare candles. A booming echo carries throughout the building the howling of the wind, the splashing of drops of water falling from the roof, and the heavy groans of the prisoners. The guards inside are trying to block your way, but the mention of the king's name brings them to their senses. Following the instructions of the guard, who informed you that the burgomaster is on the lowest tier, you descend down the spiral staircase, passing level after level. With each new flight of stairs, you dive deeper into the darkness, and finally, finding yourself on the lowest tier, you plunge into complete impenetrable blackness like an ocean. After half a minute, when your eyes get used to the darkness, you notice a reflection of torchlight in the depths of the corridor, and also catch snippets of words spoken in a half-whisper. As you move to the light, you step forward carefully, step by step, carefully enough to stop in time when the icy blade of a sword rests on your chest. I don't recall the mayor inviting someone here. Lower your sword. Do you have any idea who you're talking to? I've arrived in York on behalf of the king, and the king requires no invitations. Is that so? The king, you say? I heard he died in France, betrayed by his men. Perhaps you are one of those betrayers. Perhaps I should execute you on the spot. The tip of the stranger's sword is aimed right at your heart. How dare you speak to me like that? I'm giving you the second and last warning. Lower the sword or I will break it over your head. That sounds very intriguing. I'd love to see you try that. With all your speed, you reach for the scabbard, but the moment your hand touches the hilt of the sword, the stranger's blade is already at your throat. It is so sharp that it immediately leaves a small wound, from which a few drops of blood appear. Realizing that the odds are not in your favor, you freeze without drawing your weapon. Come on, give me a reason, please. What's going on, Arthur? Who is that? A man from London, a king's messenger. An appearance of the mayor lowers the tension and makes the stranger put away his sword. The king? I haven't heard from him for a while. Well then, let me introduce myself. My name is Milton Dale, Mayor of York. What do we owe the pleasure of your visit to? We have received a letter asking for help, and with it, numerous reports of the invasion of the Scottish armies into the borderlands. The king has made a decision to send an army to protect York. This force is led by me, so depose me, Baron of Arlington. Baron of Arlington sounds impressive, but I do not see anyone with you. So let me ask you, Baron, where is that force of yours? Roads are impassable due to bad weather. My forces remained a few days' march from here. I arrived in the city with only a small vanguard. A small vanguard, you say? Well, in that case, let me welcome you to York, the northern stronghold of the kingdom. You can stay at my residence for the duration of your business here. I will arrange for you to be accommodated properly so that you can have a good rest. The mayor points at the man beside him. This gentleman here is Arthur de Rosamond, my right hand. I see you two got off on the wrong foot, but I'm sure you can leave it all behind and find an understanding. Forgive me my rudeness, Mayor, but the reason I've dragged myself here all the way from the south is neither rest nor relaxation in your residence, or making you friends. I'm here to protect the city from the invaders, and the only thing that I would like to hear from you is, where is the enemy? How numerous are they, and how is the city preparing for the defense?
The enemy, the invasion, I sense a lot of fear in your words. Let me assure you, Baron, that all this nonsense is nothing but rumors perpetuated by the impressionable peasants and various madmen. The city and its surroundings are as safe as they might be, and I sincerely hope that during your stay here you'll see that yourself.
The more he talks, the more bewildered you get. What do you mean, safe? The city's full of refugees and everyone around is talking about a massive Scottish army coming from the north.
Who is everyone, Baron? A bunch of drunkards in the city taverns? Illiterate village folks who see a devil under every bush? I suggest you stop listening to their nonsense and come spend this evening at the comfort of my house, where you actually might learn something useful about this place. Otherwise, you can just take a ride to the northern outposts and find out for yourself that there is no danger of any kind of invasion. I have no shortage of ill-wishers, Baron, so you shouldn't trust everything you hear, especially here in the north.
I will choose to trust my own eyes then, and take a ride to the outposts. The mayor shrugs his shoulders in disappointment.
It is your will, just be careful. I'm sure you won't see any Scots, but running into a gang of brigands is always a possibility, so keep those eyes of yours peeled. The north is a harsh place. And one more thing, in the future, if you ever consider again visiting this place, then don't do it alone, and let me or Arthur accompany you. Prison is not a place for casual strolls, Baron. There are very dangerous people here.
I will keep that in mind.
Good, come pay me a visit after you come back.
Alright, so yeah, obviously, if you've seen my other series, you already know what is up with the mayor. There's some creepy stuff going on with him, and we can now visit the northern outposts and make sure that there's no threat. We should probably go to the mayor's residence first, though, because talking to Lena is going to have a little bit of something going on. Happy to see you again, sire. How's your search? Did you find the mayor? I did, but instead of bringing any clarity to the situation, he only further confused me. He claims that there is no Scottish threat. Apparently rumors about the invasion are nothing but falsehoods, fabricated, and spread by local drunkards and fearmongers. Oh well, I told you that he is a bit off. The whole city is trembling with horror, and yet he refuses to acknowledge the reality of the situation. Tell me, Lena, did you actually see any of those Scots yourself? Oh, Lord, sire, of course not. I don't wander around. But you are convinced that they're here, right? Certainly. With every minute spent in York, you find your grasp on reality getting weaker and weaker. There's no way to tell who's right and who's wrong, who's lying and who isn't. My father has seen them, sire. He is a hunter and lives in Eldham, a small village not far from the city. I've told you before. I saw him a couple of days ago when he came to visit me. He told me about the Scottish troops that he had spotted up north. I see. In this case, I would like to have a word with him, as soon as I'm done dealing with the outposts. He will help you, I'm sure. He's got a very sharp eye. It's not for nothing that the folks call him the best hunter in the York area, although the years are catching up to him a bit, sadly. I'll come visit him in Eldham as soon as I'm done inspecting the outposts. As you wish, sire. Let me know when you're ready to depart. I'll give you the directions. Sure. One more thing. You don't need to call me sire. You can call me by my name. Your words catch the girl off guard and immediately make her blush. As you wish, sir. As you wish, sir, depose me. Yes, it's probably better to just call him sire. It's a less of a mouthful, isn't it? Yes, anyway, relation increased by 15. And we now need to visit the outposts. So let's do it. Before departing, you suddenly recall that you haven't even had a proper meal since your arrival in York. Upon further reflection, you find nothing better to do than to pay another visit to Lena. She generously treats you to her cooking, which turns out to be surprisingly delicious. Vitality increased by 1. Though you'd rather not embark on a journey in the rain, duty compels you onward, and thus you head northward. Navigating by the map received by the mayor's men, you reach the first outpost after about 3 hours of travel. Upon arriving at the purported outpost, you realize that all that remains are a few dilapidated fortifications. Not a soul lingers amidst these ruins. A cursory inspection of the abandoned fortifications yields nothing. You continue on to the next outpost. You see gentle fumes rising from the location of the second outpost. Your hope swells as you draw closer to the barricades and see a group of armed men huddled around a cooking fire outside. The joy of meeting them, however, is short-lived. As soon as you introduce yourself, the men immediately draw their weapons. And here we go. Alright, I'm very, very excited to actually get into some fighting. It's been a while since we fought some things, so I am excited to do this. There we go. Already an absolute murder. Already an absolute murder for this guy. Unfortunately for me, it is going to take some time to kill these. And I think, you know what? I wanna see if I can create an even more powerful build next time around. If you have any suggestions for weapons, then by all means let me know. And we're just about to finish this guy off with a wonderful stun and a hit to the head. There we go. And you know what's really, really sad? As soon as I get loot now, all I think of is how this stuff could be donated. Isn't that hilarious? It's such a terrible, terrible thing, isn't it? Anyway, having emerged victorious, you venture into the outpost for an inspection. It becomes apparent that it too lies deserted, serving solely as a refuge for bandits and wanderers. No sign of military activities can be found here. The mayor's stories about the locked-down northern border are starting to look less and less credible. However, the third and outermost outpost shatters whatever hope you've built up since departing from the second. White and blue Scottish banners flutter about over the fortifications. Upon careful observation, you discern that the Scottish force that captured the outpost is quite small and likely wouldn't put up much of a fight. You also notice a few prisoners in shackles. Your military experience tells you that the swift assault. What kind of word is that? It's swift and assault together, you see. You know, an assault. Anyway, a swift assault may take the enemy by surprise, providing you with an opportunity to free the captives. But is the risk justified? Yes, let's attack. Abandoning allies to their fate is not in your nature. You attack the outpost. I just want to fight more, basically. I just want to fight more. I actually find fighting in this game to be extremely satisfying. I don't know. I'm not sure what kind of descriptor word to really use when it comes to talking about the combat system, but I find it very satisfying. I'm not sure why. It's probably because it doesn't drag on for a huge amount of time, and you do get the satisfaction of making a massive hit to someone's head, and then they get stunned. They I don't know, suffer an injury. Maybe there's a critical or something like that. I don't know. There's just any number of things that can happen, and it's surprisingly in depth as well, because you'd think this is a game made in Ren'Py. And if you know anything about Ren'Py, that is known as a visual novel game engine, right? And this has to be one of the most complex, complicated, sophisticated, whatever you want to call it, games that I have ever seen made with this game engine. And I'm just blown away whenever I think about that, because usually it is just, standardish visual novels that you're going to see as a result. And I'm not trying to take away from other visual novels that are made with Ren'Py, because let's face it, there are some extremely good ones. Don't get me wrong on that. There are some extremely amazing stories to be told and to be had, but what I was mostly referring to is the combat system. I don't think I've ever seen another game made in Ren'Py with a combat system like this. And it's just super fun for me. I don't know. I just really, really enjoy it. I just find it super, super enjoyable. So yeah, anyway. This guy is completely exhausted. So what I should probably do... No, we're going to fight on. We're going to fight on, of course. What we're going to do is we're just going to literally recover a little bit here. Going to do some respite just to get myself back up. There we go. He's trying to use a crossbow? Really? How dare you, sir? How dare you? That is not allowed. That is not allowed at all. His helmet, as you can see, only has 8 armor remaining because I've done so much damage to his helmet. I absolutely love that. And he's dead. And there you go. And now we can obviously take these things, and this is obviously going to be great as well. My mind is already swirling with new build ideas as well, which is also another reason why I really love this game. Apart from the fact that we have a number of very exciting storylines to pursue, because obviously, let's face it, we still haven't been able to survive the French route where we align ourselves with the Roche, and we also haven't been able to become king. However, becoming king is definitely going to be a difficult one. I think that's probably going to be the most difficult in general. I think that's going to be extremely, extremely tough because you're going to have to do every single quest in the initial chapter. And after that, then you always have to do things in the exact right order. And that's going to be tough as it is. Anyway. To your dismay, you discover that the enemy forces are greater in number than you anticipated. What you envisioned as a blitz attack becomes a prolonged and bloody battle. Suddenly, the enemy soldiers disperse, clearing a path for a towering warrior. Advancing towards you, he speaks. Alright, so this is Wallace. Enough bloodshed. I can't do a Scottish accent, so I do apologize. Anyway, so he's going to sound like a standard warrior voice that I tend to do. Okay, so enough bloodshed. This war will last long enough for all of us to end up in heaven. I see that you're here to rescue the prisoners. I sound suspiciously like Ruffin, don't I? I see that you're here to rescue the prisoners. How noble of you. You've earned my respect. We are both knights, so let's settle this in the only way that befits us, one-on-one. Alright, let's agree. Okay, but since we're up north, let's fight as the northerners do. No armor. Okay, yeah. So, I'm not sure if I'm fond of that idea. Come on, don't do that. It's a time-honored tradition, you know? A kilt is literally, you know, super, super traditional. There is not... come on now, it's not a skirt. Whatever. Come on, sir, depose me. Don't be like that. Anyway, I'll shorten that long tongue of yours, Englishman. Come on, step forward, just you and me. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unequip my armor. I am going to unequip every single piece of armor that I have. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want the achievement, okay? I want the achievement. That is the reason I'm doing it. If I get hit and die, then that's just how it's going to have to be. I've already seen this ending for this particular route. So I don't really mind too much if we do die. So let's try it out. What, you truly removed your armor? You're a brave one, Englishman. Virtue increased by 10. There you go. Alright, so he has 155 HP. Does he have any armor? Oh, he has some braces on. But that's not really going to save him at the end of the day. Okay. This is going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. I think I might actually go for a pole to the face first. Because I kind of want to knock him down. Maybe just try to get him stunned or something. I don't know. Maybe that's a waste of time. I think maybe it is a waste of time. Nice. Okay. Can I stun him? No. Getting pretty unlucky with the stuns. I was kind of hoping for a stun right there. There's the stun. Okay, fantastic. We've got one more hit to do, and there we go. He's out of there. Alright, not bad, not bad. Oh, there's the critical. Thanks so much. Ugh, that was a bit too late. And there we go. I did get the achievement. My honor is my armor is the achievement name. Anyway, standing firm under Wallace's barrage of blows, you find a gap in his defense and deliver a precise strike, fatally wounding him. Sinking to his knees and clutching his gaping wound, he attempts to rise several times, but to no avail. Realizing that his end is near, Wallace, with the last bit of his strength, hands you his sword and says, "To be a warrior is to live forever." And he's giving us his claymore, as you can see right here. As well as a little flute there. That's very nice. Faithful to the agreement made between you and Wallace, the soldiers, or shall we say the Scottish soldiers, allow you to rescue the captured soldiers and leave unharmed. The road back ends up being uneventful. Upon returning to York, you head straight to the mayor, hoping to receive some kind of explanation regarding what you witnessed at the outposts. You find him seated quietly in a dark office, lit by a solitary candle flickering on the table. Divination cards are laid out on a massive table in front of him, completely absorbing his attention. Is it time to duel? Is it time to duel? Are we going into the Shadow Realm? I think so. Your sudden arrival appears to catch him off guard. He reluctantly lifts his gaze from his cards, not even attempting to hide his annoyance.
You again, Baron? How was your trip? Have you made sure that everything is all right?
I hate to disappoint you, Mayor, but what I saw in the north was exactly the opposite of what you described me. The outposts are deserted. Those closest to the city are overrun with bandits, while the farthest ones have been seized by the Scots.
There is no need to overreact, Baron. This is not London. This is the north. Restless and troubled lands. Scottish raids are not a rare occasion here.
Sire, I don't think you quite comprehend the gravity of the situation. No offense, but is a mayor a higher rank than a baron? Is that true? Because I personally don't believe that's the case. Is that the case? Because the mayor isn't the mayor appointed by the people, or is that not how it was done back here, back in these times? Because from my reckoning, we have more power, and he should be calling us sire because we are a baron appointed by the king himself, right? Shouldn't that surely be the way things are and how things should be rolling here? But, oh well, no, I don't really know. Anyway.
And I don't think you do either, Baron. I did not invite you here, nor did I solicit your advice or help. This is my city, and you're here as a guest, so act as one. If I tell you that there's nothing to worry about, then there is nothing to worry about.
And there we go. We got some... Okay. We got a... Oh, look at that. I actually got a talent point. It's been a while since I got a talent point. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I have no idea what to go for, to be honest. I guess Sticky Fingers is probably the way to go. We could boost our gold reward. I don't really care, to be honest. None of this stuff is actually going to provide me with anything significantly good. So I guess Sticky Fingers is fine. And we got this. We could just spec a little bit more into maces if we want to. And I will probably put my armor back on after I repair it, right? Alright, so I'm just going to go back to the mayor's residence. We're going to talk to Lena. And there we go, there we go. Happy to see you again, happy to see you again, sir, depose me. Relationship improved. Any news from the north? Only bad. The outposts are abandoned. There's no defense against any advances towards the city. And what about the Scots? I've seen a small group of them in the farthest outpost, but that's it. The mayor claims it is just a small-scale raid, but for some reason I am not convinced. I believe you should find my father and ask him about what he saw. This is exactly what I intend to do. What's the name of the village again? Sir Depose Me has a memory like a sieve. It is Eldom, sir. It is Eldom. Yeah, and she says, Eldom, it's not far from the city. Exit through the east gate and continue along the road. Don't turn anywhere and you should be there in a couple of hours. Once you arrive, just ask for Conrad the Hunter. Everyone knows him. And there we have it. Okay, so the question is, do I want to train at all? Is there a reason for me to... Oh no, I can't actually train any of these. Okay. That's kind of interesting. Okay, I can increase my strength, hilariously enough. Yeah, so let's go to the brothel, I guess. Virtue lowered. Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether our virtue really matters at this point. Yeah, let's just continue increasing this then. Yeah, my time is going like no one's business right here, so I am going to have to... Because this is kind of like an interlude, slightly, so I think it's probably a good idea for us to go to Eldom right now. Finding Eldom, as Lena promised, turns out to be quite easy, but trouble is never far behind even. As it happens, the village is teeming with armed men. You observe them pulling people out of their homes, tying them and throwing them into large, mobile cages. As you approach, several horsemen block your path. Among them, you are astonished to recognize Arthur de Rosamond. We meet again, and again at a place where you don't have any business being, and once again I don't remember anyone inviting you here. What's going on, and what are you doing with these people? These people are criminals, found guilty of heresy and idol-worshipping. They will be fairly tried and then executed. A fair trial with a predetermined decision doesn't sound that fair to me. Are you questioning the mayor's authority, Baron? I suggest you watch your mouth. You feel your anger slowly building. You make one last effort to avoid a direct confrontation. I need to talk to one of the locals. His name is Conrad the Hunter. He might know the location of the Scottish forces. And, if you need him, go search for him. As you take a closer look at the cages, you notice that each of them is already holding roughly half a dozen people. You loudly call out the name of Lena's father. One of the captured peasants immediately responds, turning to you and begging you to free him. You return to Arthur. I found him. I need him alive. Tell your men to let him go. Are you deaf or something, Baron? Let me tell you one more time. These people are dangerous criminals who have to be tried and executed. Mayor's orders. It appears your hearing is a bit dull as well, Arthur. Let me tell you one more time, too. That man may possess valuable information that could decide the fate of the city. He alone knows the location of the Scottish army. I need him alive. I missed the part where that's my problem. I'm taking him with me, Arthur, whether you like it or not. Is that so? Well, I'm glad you said that. Tie him up, boys, and throw him in a cage with the rest of these animals. It's super funny how I kind of gave him a slight lilt of like a mafia boss at the end. That was super, yeah, I don't know. That was very funny. Anyway, yeah, so these guys both have shields. This is going to be kind of bad. It's going to be kind of bad for me. I'm kind of hoping that they're not going to spam shield bash on me. At least that guy's shield is gone. Take him down. Oh no, more shields, more shields. Oh dear, no, shield bash, get away from me, thank you. Do not attack me with that shield. Oh nice, wow, that was some massive damage actually. Just goes to show that if you train some strength, you actually start doing some damage. Isn't that amazing? Yes. Who would have thought it, eh? Who would have thought it? Actually spending some points in strength would increase your damage? Oh, well, that's, yeah, that's that's such a rarity, isn't it? Yes. No, we obviously knew that, but, you know, the fact is, I was just trying not to reduce my agility, you know? And there you go. That's it. Nice and easy victory. And I did not sell. Did I sell, actually? Yes, I did sell. Never mind. Okay, that's good. Alright, I'll just take all of this. I'm not going to take everything. I'm just going to take what I think is worth it. Arthur observes silently, a smile playing on his lips, as you systematically slaughter the mayor's henchmen one after another. Only when the last one of them falls does he finally seem to come to life. Jumping off his horse, he takes off his gloves and cloak, and drawing his sword, takes a step towards you. However, this showdown is just not to be. A horseman appears out of nowhere and interrupts your duel before it can even begin. Judging by his attire, it's evident he's another one of the mayor's men. After dismounting from his saddle, the newcomer approaches Arthur and whispers something into his ear, something that causes an immediate change in his expression. He sheaths his sword, picks up the cloak that he'd dropped on the ground, and jumps back on his horse. It's a shame, Baron, but I'm afraid we'll have to postpone this for another time. You can have the peasants, we'll find some new ones. I have no clue what you're doing, but I promise I will bring you all to light. I'll be waiting, but something tells me this is but another empty promise. The world is sinking into the abyss right before your very eyes, Baron, but you're too blind to see past your own nose. Next time we meet, I will kill you. I give you my word. As soon as Arthur vanishes over the horizon, you release the caged peasants, bringing joy to the entire village. You single out Conrad in order to question him. As Lena said, the old hunter turns out to be an unusually observant individual. He provides a thorough account, detailing not only the location where he spotted the Scots, a sizable lake located a half-day's journey to the northwest of Eldom, but also their numbers and weapons. When Conrad finishes his story, you have no doubt that a full-fledged invasion is underway and that the Scots will reach the city any day now. Armed with this, hopefully valuable information, you set off back to York. Before you can progress far, a rider emerges from the direction you're headed, a messenger from the sergeant's troops. You already know what he's about to say before he even opens his mouth. After all, there's only one reason for his arrival here. The Scots have approached York. The city is under siege. Oh, that's cool. I just got an achievement. Okay, I'm going to tell you what the achievement actually is, because I didn't do this before, apparently, but yeah. Anyway, luckily, because the Scots have yet to completely surround the city, you're able to sneak past their lines and enter York unnoticed. Alright, so I'm going to show you, or tell you, shall we say, what the achievement was. It is saving Lena's father after previously killing DeRoche. So 8.8%. 8.8% of people have done that. And I just thought it would be interesting for you to know. Anyway, that is going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.